what's up?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the program.
The Airtime Podcast is presented by Van Shoes since 1966. 66!
There's nothing fake about it. Have something to believe in and be yourself. You know what I'm saying?
And today's guest, what you're here for, what I'm here for, Iikka Backstrom, all the way from Finland. This dude, without a doubt, is one of my favorite jumpers. He has one of the most tasteful styles in snowboarding. Iikka, I would say, is at the forefront of being an OG and not getting dated by becoming clueless. The dude stays up in the mix, he goes to the right events, he hangs with the right people, he films with the right crews. The guy just knows what to do. There's so many old dudes who get dated, their kits get whacked, they start doing front boards to fakie, and no, not like the front board and then to fakie and they look like a G, just like the Hail Mary front board and then the Hail Mary back seven. That's not gonna happen. Iikka, he's gonna go out there, he's gonna do a front five stalefish, a front 180, a back one, a switchback one, a front seven tail, or hell, he might even do the cab 270 or the switch front board. We know he's got them. Years of inspiration. I've been biting his style since he's been on planet Earth and Sims. The way he lands in powder, it's touchdown, he doesn't drift, he's not like side slipping through the landing when he's going switch, like, oh my god, I'm traversing at a 45-degree angle on my heel edge because I can barely hang on to this. Iikka just lands bolts, zips out of that landing. He doesn't even need to do the stupid slash in the landing to sell the shot that sucked. He just lands bolts, rides down the landing, cut, next clip, another boss-ass play. And that happens because he had a mentor like Devin Walsh. What a lucky son of a bitch. Who wouldn't want to have Devin as their mentor? Of course you're this good, Iikka. It all makes sense now. If only we could have all been in your shoes. No, I'm kidding. Years of dedication, thousands of hours on your snowboard. That's the reason why Iikka is good. That, and having a few dudes he looked up to, and those dudes not being complete kooks. Devin being one of them, Gigi, Yoni, Malamy. He looked up to the dudes that were crushing it at the time. And some of those dudes, Gigi in particular, is still absolutely crushing it. Anyways, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Huge fan. You're an absolute boss. All that shit. We know how it goes. When you're as sick as Iikka, we have many thanks to give that you came on the show, you gave us your time, you put in all those years of dedication and hard work into your video parts, and that shit will not go forgotten.
Thanks for joining us for this special preview. And now, our feature presentation.
All right, welcome back to the podcast, everybody. We got Iikka Backstrom on the show. One of my favorite boarders. What's up, dog?
What's going on? How you doing there, Jody?
I'm hanging in there like everybody who's listening to this right now, you know, cabin fever.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you've been living with your roommate for quite some time right now, Eero Niemela. Are you guys getting on each other's nerves? How are you guys holding up?
Oh, we're good. We got a good balance over here. Pretty much on completely opposite schedules. Not quite, but like he's this week he's doing some PGA school shit. So he wakes up at like 4:30 and his school starts at 5 a.m. So he does that for 8 hours, and I go out and skate and do my shit, and yeah.
He's golfing for 8 hours. You're skating for 8 hours.
Yeah, he's not golfing. He's actually studying. It's like school.
Studying golf?
It's like online school. He's supposed to be in Florida for it, but yeah.
But it's for golf.
It's for golf.
You can go to school for golf?
Well, he's going to be a teaching pro or whatever. You got to ask him. You got to do one of these with him.
I will. All right, so your house, I seen on some of your Instagram shit, dude. It looks like you were having a little bit of a flood. What the hell happened? Do you guys have a monsoon there, or did Aero burst some pipes?
Aero took a giant shit, clogged up all the fucking drains. I'm just kidding. No. No, dude, it rained like hell here. Like fucking 7 inches in one day or something.
What?
What? Yeah. 7.
So this is during all the news and everything being about COVID. then you guys start getting 7 inches of rain overnight. Did you think the world was coming to an end?
Yeah, I was kind of like, what the fuck's going on in the side yard? I've never seen it like flood like that before in my life. And
Are you religious?
I figured like, fuck, there has to be a drain somewhere. I couldn't find it, and I was like, fuck, I guess I don't have a drain on the side. That sucks. But actually yesterday when I was walking around, I saw the drains in the middle of the fucking mud. It's like capped. It's not finished.
How long have you been in this house? How do you not know where your drains are?
Dude, I don't know. It's the side yard. Never had to fucking... This is actually the first time I had to worry about rain. Like, it does rain here, but actually been raining a lot this winter, but yeah, I've never really had to worry about the fucking floods.
Yeah, it's a new world right now, dude.
Yeah.
How you been keeping up? What have you been busy doing? So you just been skating all day and then you get home and then what do you do? What's your day-to-day life with this whole COVID-19? What's Iikka doing?
Fuck. I wake up, coffee. I'm on fucking FaceTime for like, I don't know, 3 hours. Just talking nonsense, making breakfast, having coffee. Then at some point, I'll do like some sort of a workout, not every day. And then I go out and skate some random parking lots, and I come back, make food. Literally making food and cleaning the fucking kitchen takes like half a day.
Dude, that's amazing that you brought that up. I've never realized what it's like to live inside your house and eat 3 meals a day plus snacks. Plus you got a roommate who sometimes don't want to pull their weight or something like that. You are cleaning up like 3 hours of the day.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
It's wild.
Pretty minimal fucking watching, binge watching anything like that. I did watch that Tiger King thing.
Me too.
Mainly I always just fall asleep when I just start watching shit, so.
I mean, you're European, you're from Finland. I mean, let's be honest. I don't feel like there's too many Tiger Kings in Finland. Maybe. Does it make you like kind of trip out that like that guy didn't live too far away from like Encinitas? Like he lived kind of far, but I mean like he's in the States and like.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I was actually talking to my friend from Finland. He's like, dude, you live in a pretty fucked up country. I'm like, yeah, I do. I know. It's crazy.
And that all happened because the snowboarding dragged you right to this spot, and now you're living right beside a million Tiger King people. That stressed me out. When that shit ended, I was like, that's real? And then everybody else who's involved in that show who owns tigers is equally as crazy.
Yeah, tiger people are pretty fucked up. The cat people, like they said. Yeah, but I feel like where I live, it's pretty much a different country.
Encinitas, California is totally different. It's like BC or like, British Columbia where I live in comparison to a lot of the other places in Canada. Just different vibes. It's like going to New York and comparing that to like Minnesota or something like that. Just different people live there.
Yeah.
How's the community where you're living right now? Do you think, are most people taking this pretty serious, or there's just thousands of surfers out on the break right now and everyone's at the skate park, or like is it pretty spaced out? What's the vibe?
Pretty spaced out. All the beaches are closed finally because they just couldn't control it. There's so many people surfing, which was fine to me. Like, just when you let someone surf, it brings people to start gathering around, and like just people are gathering around the beach. That kind of sucks. Skate parks are not open. Any of the parks are not open. It seems like people are taking it pretty serious, and as far as what I've heard, California is doing pretty good.
Yeah, dude, BC's been crushing it too, but I wonder if that has something to do with the fact that, like, if you go to the central states and stuff like that, it's a one-stop shop, and everyone's just going to Walmart, and that's their fill-up. People that live on the coast that surf and stuff like that, you know, they're having these things called acai bowls. To where I'm from, nobody's ever heard of that before.
And And also the middle of the country is probably watching Fox News.
Oh yeah, exactly. Which is intense. I've watched a few of the episodes. It's wild.
Yeah, it's not good. I don't know if any of the news are good.
What's your overall vibe with this? Do you believe it's real? Are you over it? Do you just what's Iikka thinking?
I mean, I'm no scientist, no doctor. I mean, it's real for sure. It's fucking sucks. Yeah, I don't know what I feel about it yet. I don't know how long you can have people locked in their houses for. I mean, the world has to fucking continue at some point before we're all fucking homeless.
I agree. And like you have been on the go since you were like 15, 16 years old, you know, when the whole snowboarding thing started to click for you. And now you're not snowboarding, you're like kind of skateboarding, but like even skating alone, like I know that you skate alone sometimes, but normally you probably link up, you go skate the DC park with a handful of homies. Like it's got to be crazy for someone who's traveled as much as you. And I mean, you're not one to spend all your time alone, I would say.
No, not at all. It's pretty trippy, but kind of found my balance a little bit lately. Yeah, I don't know. It's trippy. We've never gone through anything like this in our lifetime, so it's definitely new and fucking challenges everyone.
Would you rather this go on for like 5 years, or would you rather have been in like World War II?
That's a tough one.
You know what I mean? Would you rather be like, because then you still have interaction with your boys and stuff. You're on an adventure. You're losing some of your boys, but
I don't know. This is yeah, probably World War II. Fuck. I don't. This is a new fucking school World War. But I don't know, dude. I couldn't do this for 5 years.
No, me neither.
I actually tried to go get the antibody test today, see if I've had it already.
Oh, that would be. Is that available in the States yet? I know that in Canada they're looking at stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Not ready.
But
oh, wow.
I drove there this morning. It's like 5 minutes from my house. I drove there this morning, but I didn't read the website very well. You have to like fucking sign up and all this shit. Pay for it. $75.
I mean, in a perfect world, you already have it, and it's out of your system. You know what I mean? Like that would be the best to find out you had it. You're like, boom, I'm done.
Well, because I was sick and I was in France right before they shut down the borders, and I don't know. I'm kind of starting to think that I had it.
Yeah, dude. Well, my mom was sick for a month and had pneumonia right before it, and so I think that she and my dad might have already gone through it because they were like terribly sick. And that I'm like, Mom, that's best case scenario. Where were you before this shit went down? Were you filming up in BC or? I
was in France. I was in the epicenter.
What?
Yeah, we went there. That's when Italy started to go kind of nuts. And it was me, Sebe, Andy, and Sam. And then one morning, we were supposed to stay there over the weekend, and I think it was Wednesday. Or no, it was like Tuesday. And Andy woke up in the morning. He's like, hey, they closed the Italian border. It's just like getting worse and worse, right? He changed his flight. And then we started like wondering if we should do the same. So it took like an hour of discussion. We changed our flights and flew out of there. Landed in New York. Watched the news in New York. Me and Sam were gonna stay and skate in New York City. Looked at the news, it's like crazy out there in the streets. Like people were getting sick everywhere. And then we heard the news that they are gonna close the borders too from Europe. So it was a good time to fly home.
You guys, the skin of your teeth, man. That would have sucked to be locked down there.
Yeah, they would have let us come back, but it would have been a nightmare. It looked like there's all the airports were just like packed with people.
I feel like for a minute there, were you like, Andy, you're overreacting. It's going to be fine. And then you guys get up the next day and the Italian borders close and you're like, maybe you're onto some shit.
Dude, I kept telling him he was overreacting the whole entire time. But fucking sure enough, he was right. As per usual. Yeah, I was like, I don't give a fuck. I can go to France. It's not too bad. While we were there, shit just started going fucking dummy.
Yeah, it was going south quick. Why were you guys in France? Were you guys there to do some filming? Are you guys hanging out at that DC place in France, whatever it's called, Maribel or whatever?
No, we were actually going to. There's a event at Teen for a rep and retailer thing that was over the weekend, but we went like a week earlier. Flew to Geneva, drove to Avoriaz to ride with Nico Droves.
What? Oh, actually, I saw you posting shit about that. I was like tripping out because it was right when I was doing like a bunch of hunt to find like old school kind of photos. And I came across a super old photo of Nico and he was on like special blend and stuff. And I was like, what?
Yeah, he was still riding the same gear pretty much. It was sick.
I know, I saw the front three or something you posted him. It was actually super sick.
Dude, he was ripping. It was crazy. Because we showed up there. I was so jet lagged the first day and it was a really good pow day riding. And he was just popping off all these cliffs, all crazy riding fast. I was like, how the fuck is this guy riding? Like, he's like 46 years old. He's ripping.
He's just hyped, dude. He's finally got like a bunch of like legit dudes to show that like I still rip, and he's probably jonesing for that. Like, he was a pro boarder forever. He's definitely if you were a pro snowboarder, when you hang out with other pro snowboarders, you kind of get fired up.
Yeah, and his son Terry was with us the whole time. He was like popping little airs and shit. Does
he steed? Does he have it? Is he the next gifted dude?
Yeah, he's gonna be dope. Fucking, they live like pretty much right on the lift. They live on the lift basically.
And that's in France?
Yeah. Avoriaz is like the town is in up top. So you have to take like a gondola from the bottom, and then all the hotels, and we didn't stay there. We should have, but all the hotels and restaurants are at the resort up top. It's so insane.
Yeah, different vibe. I've been to France once before, and you get to the top of the mountains, and you can just see as far as you can see like chairlifts like intertwining in all the mountains, and it just looks like it goes. It's just insane. You're like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, you take a chairlift and you can just take a run down here in Switzerland.
And they don't mark off shit. There's just like you're cruising around and you're like, I should probably stop. It kind of looks like a cliff, and you look down at the cliff. There's like a small village that's 100 meters down, and they don't fence off shit.
Oh yeah, some dude fell off a cornice there while we were there, because we went to see Torstein and them in Switzerland one day. And they showed us the face from France. Some dude was standing on a cornice. It broke. He must have fallen like a 60-foot cliff down into a chute and somehow survived.
Oh, gnarly. When we were there, I was there with Anto, Logan Hallbrick. We were on a DC trip too. And Jesse Fox and somebody else. I forget the photographer. Oh, Colin Adair, obviously. And when we were there, we were waiting at the bottom of Maribel. I think, am I saying that wrong? Do you know where the resort is?
Yeah, Maribel.
Yeah, okay, Maribel. We were at the bottom of one of the chairlifts there, and we see some guy get sloughed out, do a lap, come back. Full search party of like 20 people. We find out that night the guy passed away. There must have been 20 to 25 people, and I bet you it just looked like nobody knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
And I bet you somebody had their beacon on or didn't have a beacon, and it just looked like a total shit show.
It's so gnarly. I looked over like this, like go check. Nico told us to go check out this like face from the side, and he walk up and he's like, oh, watch out. Yeah, that's a cornice in front of me. I'm like, oh, fuck, it's not fucking marked at all. But
yeah, you fall into a hole pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
How was your season overall? Did you have a pretty good year? What are you filming for? What was Iikka busy doing? Are you back in the streets? Are you going to just go and ride at like Highland now and just, cruise around with Brady and those dudes? Or
The season was it was pretty fun.
It was steezy. I liked it.
It was cut short for sure. I was really hoping to get up to BC still. And I don't know. It was cool. Our Japan trip was cool. That went well. Then I came back and I went to Baldface to do shoot with Ken. Or actually, I went to. Where did I go? I came back from Japan and I went to the trade show. Then I went to Baldface to the Ken shoot, and then back from there, and then we went to Minnesota, came back from there, and then I went to France, and that was my season.
Boom, let's talk about it. What was your favorite part? Japan? Was it possibly the trade show? Was it Baldface? Where did you score the best?
Japan.
It was
obviously.
Good?
Yeah, it was really fun. We had
Who are you there with, Sebe and Torstein or Fronius?
Yes, Sebe and Torstein.
That's the dream team right there. That Torstein project that he just put out, Light, you guys are looking steezy. Your clips in there were incredible. Front five stale and everything like that. When are you going to lose it?
Fuck, I don't know. I feel like it's lost every day.
I don't. I feel like you keep putting out footage that's as relevant and as good as anyone else's footage, if not better. And I'm like, how does he keep doing this? It's so sick. And you're back in the streets, dude? This is like 05 Iikka.
I wouldn't say I'm back in the streets.
Switch front board, dog? We all know.
It's fun, but it's fucking, like, to do anything that's anywhere near legit these days is fucking crazy.
Who are some of your dudes right now in the streets? Who's got it going on?
Who's got it going on in the streets?
Who's somebody that you like? Take your time here.
Take it.
Dude, you're a selective dude. I know you are.
Kuzek, obviously. Danimals. I really like Danimals in the streets. Krugs.
Dude, those are good names right there, dude. Those are some solid picks.
Gesme.
Yeah, dude, Tommy Steve's so sick.
Yeah, and I really like. I wouldn't say Louis as much as he's got his own thing going on, which I really like. That's super cool.
You kind of have that same thing that Louis has created a way to snowboard and to do it tastefully in his own way. And it seems like now his brands just give him full creative control. They know he can provide sick stuff, do sick shit, so they just let him do it. You're kind of like that too. You were doing backcountry.
Well, thank you, but I don't know about that.
in the aspect of like you just did backcountry for a long time with Devin, and you were just filming backcountry. Now you're back in the streets. You're cruising at Highland. You're riding park again, dude. You go to Australia and go cruise summer parks now. It's like the re-up of Iikka. It almost seems like you could film like a happy hour part again or something like that, and just redo everything. Go from right from the start and do it again.
Yeah, I really enjoyed riding resorts lately for some weird reason.
It's heartbreaking right now. Wearing a hoodie. Yeah. I feel like when I think of Iikka, I think of like a hoodie, goggles, hair out. You kind of like when it gets a little bit warm outside, so you don't have to be fully bundled up. Yeah. And I mean, it's your time to shine, and that's taken away from you because this horseshit virus.
Yeah, I know. Fuck. It's taken away from everyone.
So growing up, I gotta know, Finland, what was it like growing up there? I mean, you've lived in the States for probably a decade now, or a while. What's the biggest?
I think a decade almost, yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. What was it like growing up in Finland, dude? We got a lot of people who are listening to this podcast, and most people are from Canada and the States. What is Finland like?
Finland is there's a pretty sweet place to grow up. It's pretty basic, simple life. I got heavily into skateboarding and snowboarding, as you could probably imagine, at a young age. And that's basically where all my energy went. And back in the day, I used to skate a lot with Ettila. And we used to just skate all the spots in Helsinki, film little like videos. We're always filming. It's really fun. We had our little crew in Helsinki and just skating all like the street spots, which is funny because now you're like, we just grew up skating the streets. We didn't really have any parks to go to. And now parks are everywhere. And then, that was our summer. And then winter, you naturally just rode all the little resorts.
Big part of your life, I would say, is skateboarding. You can tell that your snowboarding reeks of skateboard style influence. Who were some of the dudes growing up? I mean, you were probably early 90s inspired kind of guy. Who were the dudes that gave you the stee, Iikka?
Gave me the stee?
Yeah, who are you looking up to, man? Who are the skaters? I know I've heard you talk about Arto Osari before.
Yeah, Arto, Penny, like Kareem Campbell.
Damn.
Fuck, I had a bunch. I had Reynolds, obviously. And then there's like an era of like the fucking Osiris and the fucking Shorties movies and shit. All those dudes. It was like all those guys.
Big baggy pants D.
Yeah. Now there's a big era of like Shorties fulfilled a dream.
You have that poster on your wall growing up?
Yeah, I did for sure.
I can like almost name all the posters I've had on my wall growing up because you stared at them for so long. What kind of whose poster was on your wall? Snowboarder or skater? I know you remember that shit.
I have Yanni Malmi's poster and probably Ville was on my wall. I didn't really I don't know. I had a couple posters. There's so many like pages off magazines.
Dude, they've been screwing us in the magazines lately. There's less and less posters, dude. I used to love posters. That was my jam. Get a new mag, cut out a poster.
Well, now we have that fucking phone and all you need to look at is someone's page.
I know, it's sad. It really takes away. It still feels good getting shit. Something ran in print, though. And I still read all the mags, and I like the print. It's so nice.
Yeah, it is.
But
when it's done well, it's nothing beats it.
No, did you get that first issue of the Torment mag or whatever? It was pretty well done. It was nice to look through.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah, they're doing a good job.
Absolutely. I'm glad there's something like that out there still.
People like you, I think, have a really good taste, and it's nice that you're in the position that you're in to give back, and hopefully snowboarding looks up to the right people enough so that we make the right decisions, because there's a lot of kooky shit going on right now. And I mean, there's been rumors, dude. Is it true? Are you working at DC as a TM, or are you just, is Bobby calling you with, yo, what should we do?
That shit's kind of on the back burner right now because of this shit. Yeah, but I am kind of looking after the team somewhat. I'm hyped.
I'm telling you, dude, DC is going to make some moves now.
Hopefully, this stuff passes us soon. But
yeah, dude, do you have anybody you want to add on the team? Or do you want, are you cutting anybody? What's going on here?
Dude, I think right now it's in someone else's hands right now.
Oh, dude, it's out of our hands for sure. I talked to a few of my team managers at other brands, and they just told me that their entire summer sales have just been canceled globally. So I think the last thing they're worried about right now is somebody filming a 3-minute video part expecting to get a paycheck next year. They're like, how do we keep this brand afloat?
Yeah, I think they're a bigger fucking fish to fry right now. Bigger worries right now.
You got to be nothing but grateful, dude. You got a place in California. It's well-deserved. You've had, probably almost 15 years of video parts, at least in videos that Happy Hour, I'm assuming being your first video part, Kingpin.
Yep.
Who kind of took you under the wing back in the day? So let's dive into like your little history here, just so people who don't know who you are, you know, you're growing up, you got your posters on your wall in Finland. How did it all start with the sponsorships? You were making videos with Arrow.
Yeah, we were always skating, making videos, making little snowboard things too with like Lowry and Arrow and all those homies from Finland. And I started competing. I was competing in pipe.
Yeah, you're a sick pipe rider. Lots of people don't know that. Or you were.
I would correct you on that. After the super pipe came, I think I kind of lost my shit because I'm used to the taco pipes where you pop and it doesn't work in a super pipe, and that's where I kind of lost my pipe skills. And it was like we had a little like a training camp for the Finnish team in South Bay, and Mark Kukowski asked me if I had a clothing sponsor.
Quicksilver.
Yeah, didn't have a clothing sponsor then, and so I signed with Quicksilver and GNU.
I remember that. I feel like I saw you on a Quicksilver poster when I was a kid. Danny Cass was on Quicksilver, I think, at the same time. Was he not?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. I remember seeing in the AMs Iikka's name. I'm pretty sure. Or were you on the pro team? Harsh, if that's the case.
Might have been AM or might have been pro. Who knows? We did make one board. I made one board with like Kyle Clancy. We had the Writer's Choice. That was our board. But yeah, I signed with Quicksilver, and they took me on a trip. Like might have been like February to the States. Went to Mammoth and went to Baker, and on that trip, Chris Owen kind of took me under his wing, and he got me to film with Kingpin.
Which at that time was the Holy Grail, or at least one of the Holy Grails, other than Mac Dog and Absinthe Standard. Yeah, actually, there was a few good ones, but that was one of the best ones you could be in for sure.
Yeah, it was. I always liked those movies because like Gigi's part from Destroyer was like one of my favorite parts growing up. And,
without a doubt.
And that whole movie, I really liked it. And so yeah, he asked me if I wanted to, he was talking to Brad Kramer, and he asked me if I wanted to go on a trip with him. So my 2-week trip to States ended up being 2 months. Went on a few filming trips, and I was just hanging out in Portland at Chris Owen's house. And that's how it kind of all started. I came back to Finland, and I came right back in the summer for Mount Hood.
Did you feel like at that point, when you came over here, you get this offer to film for Kingpin, you're filming for Happy Hour, do you think you crushed it and you left like, oh yeah, this is my jam, I'm going to turn into a pro? Or were you like, fuck, I don't know if this is what I want to do? Or did you leave it like, this is my shit, I'm in?
I don't know. It was all happening. I was so young. It was happening so quickly. Didn't really know what to think about it, but I knew like, okay, yeah, kind of, because I was still in school. And I knew I was going to just fucking give up right away. I was like, I think this can wait for a little bit.
How the hell were you juggling that? Yo, we got to ask some old numbers. What was somebody like Iikka, you're like 16, you're filming for Happy Hour, you're on GNU and Quicksilver. What's like a paycheck from them looking like back then? Like,
my first paycheck, I remember from GNU. This might give you a little bit of a ballpark, but in my first paycheck, I went to Foot Locker and bought all Allen Iverson gear, and that was the paycheck.
Why'd you spend all of it?
I got a jersey and some fucking Allen Iverson fucking shoes.
Yo,
a couple headbands.
Straight to Foot Locker.
Yeah. Then we went to see a Blazers Sixers game with Owen. That was pretty fucking cool.
The next year would be Back in Black. Just out of curiosity and respect, did you ever get to like hang and ride with Jeff Anderson?
I actually just met him. Met him in Japan, and we were supposed to go on a filming trip after that trip, and obviously that never happened. So, yeah, he seemed like a really, really cool dude.
Hard-hitting one for the whole community. I did a podcast with Roman DeMarchi not too long ago, and I mean, he was there for it, and it was just like so devastating. But I was just curious to see if you ever got on a rail trip or something like that, because who wouldn't want to go on a rail trip with Jeff Anderson?
Yeah, he seemed like the best dude ever. Yeah.
You were in like the two coolest starting out movies, Happy Hour, Back in Black, both those movies being, I would say, top 5 Kingpin movies.
Yeah. Pretty psyched on being able to film for Kingpin movies. I wish I could have maybe performed better in those movies, but
whatever. You're like 17.
Yeah. I wasn't very good at landing in powder back then.
No one's good at landing in powder when they're 17 years old, unless they're like born and raised at like Mount Baker. It's not you, dude. You're born in Finland, bro. Everyone's gonna give you the hall pass there.
I definitely got the hall pass. That's nice, because if there was anyone who knew anything that was going on, would have been kicked out of the crew pretty quickly.
Why?
Not a lot of landings, a lot of bomb holes.
Did anyone give you a hard time? Do you remember going out with some of the OGs or the backcountry dudes like Mikey or Mark Frank or any of those dudes? Did you film with them, and did anybody kind of be like, yo, because dude, it was tense back then. Like, it was just before my era, but I mean, I've talked to dudes like Vitali and stuff who are filmers, and it was pretty like gnarly filming back then. Like, if you weren't pulling your weight, people were fucking tripping out.
No, luckily I filmed with like Blaze, who that film? A little bit of Giggy. I never really got hard time straight to my face, that's for sure.
I mean, Blaze and Gigi sound like the two chillest dudes to go out with too.
Yeah, it was really mellow. I did a little bit like, who else did I film with? I filmed with a couple random people, but yeah, I don't know. I got nothing but support back then.
Good.
Brad Kramer was really supportive and like cool back then. He would always double me up to the backcountry and stuff.
I feel bad. There's a lot of kids that give me a hard time for not doubling them up and stuff. But as you know, backcountry isn't the same as just going out like into Brandywine Bowl and the first thing you see is just good to go. You know, we're going out there so far and we're sledding back 4 hours where it comes a hazard now. And I don't know.
No, it's not very safe in Whistler. You can't double people in Whistler. It's just impossible. We were just going to Sonora. And that doubling there is fine, but Whistler, it's comes a liability if you're doubling people, you know.
When was your first time in Whistler? What was your crew? I mean, Pavo was there, and what?
We went a back in black trip. Me, Gigi, and Brad drove to Whistler, and what did we spend, like maybe 10 days there?
That's all you needed to be hooked forever.
Yeah, I went to Tri-Coney maybe once, and that's about what happened in my trip. And then we saw like a good forecast in Tahoe, and we pinned it all the way back to Tahoe from Whistler.
But like, what about Whistler, dude? I mean, you're in Whistler. It's like, why would you leave? Once you're here, it's like, this is the place yet.
I was having a great time. I saw Pavo there. I was just chilling with them, and Gigi and Brad were on their own thing.
I was going to say, is that when you got first introduced to the Wildcats? Because that was a pretty fun time of your career, I'm sure.
Pretty much. That was one of the first times, yeah, for sure.
You went to Buffalo Bills and saw like Trevor and Devin and Duffy and Browner and Kale.
I never actually got to witness that, unfortunately, like firsthand, at least when Devin was out there, you know? I've definitely witnessed Browner. And maybe Trevor and those guys, Kale.
Who was your favorite Wildcat when you came to town? Who's your favorite Wildcat out of that whole crew? Or boarder, partier? We need some stories on these dudes.
The closest people that I've hung out with, there's just Pavo, Dion, Devin, and Browner, Kale, all of them.
The Wildcats was like a brotherhood. I remember seeing you guys at the bar, and I was like, didn't seem like other film crews. You guys like seemed like a bunch of brother families. Like you guys would beat each other up in the bar as much as you'd be having fun with each other.
Yeah, kind of weird. We're not really like the real Wildcats either, though. They are the real Wildcats. We're just like the add-ons in the.
Not to everybody who was
years.
watching the movies, dude. They can act like they're the Wildcats, but when I think of the Wildcats, you guys are all in there.
Oh, JF, obviously. It's close with JF.
Yeah, JF, Alex Achu.
He's a fun Wildcat.
He can jump really high when he gets riled up to party.
Oh, yeah. He's a true Wildcat. He lives up for the name. Still.
What were some of your favorite times growing up back then? Sim snowboards with Mark Frank or what?
Favorite times? I always think back to the forum that year. We just had so much fun with everyone. Like that whole year was just insane, going crazy. Kennedy, just the funniest dude in the streets. We spent like 2 months in Stockholm, not quite 2 months, but a month and a half at least in Stockholm, just being young idiots, and it was so much fucking fun.
I know Kareem was on the last podcast and he was telling me how he was showing you guys around, and after we finished the podcast, he told me this story about Travis partying all night, not even sleeping, getting up in the morning and going straight to that rail and then front boarding it.
Yeah, he was an animal. It was so funny. The whole year was awesome. Kearns was being gnarly, but awesome. I remember I was like, I think when the first time we hit Mother, I didn't land. And I was all depressed, like on my snowmobile. He shows up like a little later. We were with Rick filming that day. And he shows up a little later and he looked at me. He's all like making fun of me being all depressed. Then time goes on and I had one of those moments again, being all depressed on my snowmobile, just not landing. And he looked at me, he's like, "You think you're depressed?" I'm like, "Yeah, this sucks. I haven't landed anything in so long." It's like, "Yeah, you remember that day when I showed up, when you're laying on your sled and I threw a beer at you?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Remember how long ago that was?" I'm like, "Yeah." "You haven't gotten one single shot since then." I'm like, "Fuck you." Sure enough, started landing right after that.
Was he kind of intimidating to film for? I mean, he kind of seemed like he was like, buckle up or get out of my production.
Yeah, you knew when you got a shot from his impressions. Like, fuck, he was so stoked, or he would just make fun of you. Yeah, fuck. Yeah, you definitely knew when you had it, and you definitely knew when you didn't.
What was it like hitting some of those jumps when you're like, you come from Finland, happy hour, you're kind of shooting park jumps primarily, and like you said, you're just eating shit. Then you come to Whistler, you're filming with Forum, you're filming with the best dudes on Forum, all in their prime, everyone's hitting big shit. Devin's like lacing up the Hurley Road Gap, like you said, the Mother, like iconic, huge jumps, kind of almost for the first time, some of these things. And you're like, I'm going switchback 5 off this thing. Like, I've never even hit a step down.
Yeah, it was pretty wild, but I was all about it. I knew like you could trust Devin with everything. Luckily, he didn't make me hit too many things first. I think I might have gone. I don't remember if I went off Mother first. I remember being in the air for so long that I freaked out. I landed perfectly, but I was so freaked. Like my whole stomach went all crazy in the air. I just kept dropping. Like, and I just sat down. Like, I fucking could have landed that. I'm such an idiot, but it was such a big, massive air back then. I was like, what the fuck was that? The It's like, it felt like one of those dreams that you have that never end. Like you're fucking just floating in the air. You never land.
Well, Decline Gap. What did you do on that? Switchback 1 or something?
Switchback 780. Yeah.
Yeah, that was insane. You're literally floating up there for like an hour. Like it's fucked.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was fucking wild.
That Switchback 1 is so big.
It was crazy. Yeah, those jumps were dope. It's crazy. Yeah. It's, it's when you have a crew that's like pretty confident, it's just, and I don't know, I was like, fuck it. All gas, let's go. I'm gonna fucking make it over this gap somehow, but fucking who knows what happens in the fucking landing. I remember hitting Decline Gap. I remember how much my fucking jacket was just flapping into it. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Why am I going this fast? We also built it so good too, I feel like.
Oh yeah. Is that the one that JP Cab 9'd?
Yeah,
that is. I can't
Cab
up. 9 off your toes. Like, oh, dear God.
That was like basically where the winter ended, I think, for us. It was so gnarly.
This is like Super Park, but in the backcountry. Yeah, you don't want to ragdoll on that one. Did you land that Switchback 1 FT or how many tries?
Couple tries, I feel like. The best part was when we went filming, came back from film, or maybe we went and rode the resort. Then we had a little après with some wings and some beers. Yeah, with Kearns and Dice K.
Is that the one when Devin hit it?
And then Kearns, and I think JP was with us too. And then Kearns is like, we should go look at the Hurley Road Gap, see if it snowed enough. And it was like fucking 8 p.m. Like, fuck, are you serious? So we drove all the way to Hurley, snowmobiled up to those road gaps. Must have been like 10 p.m. at this point. And they had enough snow. And we turned around and next morning we came to hit them. But then we got to the parking lot and there's a ski crew. And we started racing the ski crew up the fucking Hurley Road. Got to the road gaps. The ski crew was in front of us, and Kearns was standing on the fucking takeoff of the Hurley Road Gap. Fucking just 2 middle fingers up. Fuck you.
So you hit it. You didn't get your clip. Would you go too big, or did you thank God you didn't knuckle?
Yeah, I definitely didn't.
There's
land.
only one person to knuckle that thing, and it was Bo, and Bo paid the price. He destroyed his ankle on that.
Fuck that. That sounds
yeah,
so bad.
I've never hit that thing. I went up to hit it one time, and then with Belzil and somebody else, and we didn't end up hitting it. I don't know why, but that thing is big.
I remember you had to be going like to hit to land in a sweet spot. Like you have to land so close to the road, and it felt like you're going too slow.
I would never want to hit that. Now that I drive past it every day, I'm just like, and for what the landing is, you land and then it's so short, you just kind of like disappear into like this little gut, and I'm like, it's all good. Like, I don't want to hit that thing.
Yeah.
So what do you got planned for the rest of the day today, big dog?
Rest of the day, it's 4:15. It's almost dinner time soon.
Have you done your workout today?
I did like a pretty lousy one. Then I had this beer. But I did skate today. It was pretty cool.
What tricks you learning right now?
What tricks did I do? I really I'm trying to relearn all the tricks from last summer. I've been just doing slappies and just cruising.
Dude, that seems to be the go-to these days, and it looks like a good time.
Yeah, I don't want to go too ham out there. I don't want to go to the hospital with a fucking broken leg. I ate some shit the other day. I hit it like a pebble in the fucking parking lot onto my back. I was like, are you fucking serious?
It's always the littlest thing. Your like worst injuries always come when you're just like kind of chilling. And then it's just like, before you know it, it's like, whap.
Oh, yeah.
So what's going on with DC these days? When did you sign with DC? Why did, after Forum, What happened there? You're on Forum and it just was like you didn't want to be on Forum anymore, and then you just went over to DC, or they made you a crazy offer?
The Forum deal was after that they tried to sign me for. I was writing for Planet Earth, and they trying to because I wrote for Genius before that, and then they kind of like just put everyone, me and Eddie, on Forum for that year, and then. So I was gonna either ride for. I think I was gonna ride for Foursquare, and they wanted me to ride for Foursquare for a little bit, and then they came back to me, and I already kind of heard something about DC, and at some point in there, they came back to me telling that I should move on and look for another sponsor. Because they're gonna concentrate on Lowry.
What? Harsh.
Yeah, I mean, Lowry was there before me, so I understood that. But also, it didn't feel bad because I already knew this DC thing was actually about to happen. So we were just waiting.
Who gave you insider trading on that? Was it Dev like, hang tight, buddy? We're leaving this ship together.
No, he's like, we had a bunch of meetings with Sean Lake about it, and we just were waiting for the green light to get if they're going to start the board line or not. And then, so yeah, I knew I was going to ride for DC anyways, almost. And so I wasn't really too worried about it, but then didn't know if Devin and Lowry were going to ride for DC, and then they gave us the green light on the boards, and then fucking everyone left. So Forum was like, what the fuck?
I mean, Larry and and Devin were on Forum, and DC just at a perfect time. Right when, I mean, after that, it was still sick, but when you guys all left, it really like changed things. And then you guys got, who else signed at the time? Eddie Wall and Bittner? Or no, Eddie Wall still stayed on Forum, but was doing the boots.
Bittner signed, and then I think it was me, Lowry, Bittner, and Devin.
What about Simone? Was Simone on? And then he got on after.
Yeah, he wasn't on boards ever.
Yeah, he was supposed to be, but he said no to stay on Stepchild or some shit. I think he tried to stay true to Johnson, but I think at the end,
you know these things better than I do.
Probably.
You should be talking for me. Maybe I ask questions from now on.
Yeah, how did I get on DC?
You're on. And then something happened.
I got kicked off DC. I was on DC for a short stint. And then Nick Olson got let go, the team manager. Was Nick Olson the original team manager, or he was actually working at like Mountain Lab, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was just working at the lab. And he was a rep in Utah. And then he turned into into a team manager.
Dude, he was the best team manager.
He was great.
Mean, as far for me, we had the best time ever. For the 2 or 3 years I was on DC, that dude made my life amazing.
Yeah, he was hilarious. A lot of funny trips with him. No, Sean Lake was the original. Sean Lake, and then Zach Dalton was like the original team managers. Zach Dalton was the team manager. Sean Lake was higher up.
That must have been a cool thing. I mean, growing up as a kid,
it was pretty fucking cool. We signed our contracts in Vegas at one of those like suites with a basketball court and shit.
What?
Yeah, it was insane. I don't know what the hell that was, but they had like this party there. So we went to the back room and like signed our contracts. Big Black was there and like all this fucking people. It was dirty. It was crazy.
I mean, dude, they did Mountain Lab, and then that era with DC for me was like the best ever. And then right when I got on, they got on I remember Nick Olson always complaining because he was always like, the European market's telling us what jackets we have to make and stuff. And that slime green DC like green color came out for the whole time I was on them. I remember being like, damn, I got to wear this shit again. Like, I don't like these colors. Yeah. But I mean, that's what happens. I got dropped because they saw my part in 8 Mile, which obviously I wasn't taking very serious because,
I'm
Mikey and
I'm pretty sure it wasn't. You're apart from A Mile. There's some other shit going on. I'm sure.
No, I remember me and Logan going to Super Park, and it was like all the DC dudes and Logan Hallbrook absolutely destroying it. And I remember Nick Olson being like, "Yo, you guys are part of this shit." We were all just so psyched, and then we all get the call from Olson in like December, going like a few months later. He's like, "Yeah, I just got my jobs done, and you guys are definitely gonna get let go."
Damn.
And that's how she goes. I mean, you've been hanging in there longer than anybody. You and Devin.
Yes. Hang on.
Well, yeah, no, it's kind of like adapt or die, and you got to look at, like you said, one of your favorite skaters there, Andrew Reynolds. I mean, he's the epitome of doing shit right year after year, adapting, new kids obviously staying hyped on him. It's not like a bunch of OGs being like, you don't know, you got to respect this dude and stuff. People are just like, they just do because he does the right shit. That's an important thing, dude, and you've been doing it for a long time. You're adapting, Iikka, year after year, and we love it.
Thank you.
I mean, there was
something right.
Dude, you're doing it all right, dude. Everyone I know who's tight as shit is super hyped on what you're doing, and we ain't got nothing but love for you. What happened there with Iikka? I mean, sorry, with Laurie. When Laurie got let go, I mean, you guys were best friends growing up.
Yeah, it was yeah, I mean, it was probably in the long run it was good for him because now he's doing good what he does. Works for Yoni Mommy's clothing company. So I mean, he always wanted to live in Finland, so I don't think that really worked with DC. As far as like him kind of like, I don't know, doing his own thing there when everyone else was doing the same thing over here. I don't know. You know what I mean? Not that only that he lived in Finland, but he just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not a fair deal ever when it comes to, it just happens. I don't know. It's really like a lot of bad luck. There's cuts always out there that are not fair at all. And it's never the right time, and then I don't know, it just really you're just at the wrong place at the wrong time, or your name is.
Yeah, dude, you've been dodging. I mean, you've been dodging bullets, but at the same time, you've been doing it right the whole time because you're at where you're at, and I mean, year after year, your shit gets better. But for some people, that doesn't even seem to matter. I mean, when you look at like the Uninked crew and like those Burton dudes who all got like a slew of drop offs, it was like some of those dudes were filming the best shit they've ever filmed, and it was just like over.
Yeah, fucking name of the game,
dude. Arrow. And I mean, the older you get, the more like for you, all your friends are pro snowboarders, and eventually they all get let go, and you're kind of like last man standing. And
somehow I don't know how. Probably the one with the least amount of talent.
No way, dude. You've been getting better every year.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that.
What do you want to focus on right now? Do you want to be like the best powder Iikka you've ever been? Do you want to go back to an all mountain guy? You want to have some like rail shit in your stuff again? Or are you excited to just chill and follow the team around and make sure people are fucking doing tight shit?
I want to focus on the team a little bit, but I also want to snowboard a lot. I'm kind of like I will snowboard anything really that's in front of me. That's kind of like what I want to be.
Well, it'd be stressful being like a kid and you being the team manager, and then the team manager being significantly better than you in all aspects of snowboarding.
No way. All those kids are so much better.
I mean, dude, look at that jump you hit with like Jamie and everything in light. Imagine being the new kid, like you pick some new AMs to be on DC and then they hit that and the team manager's stacking more clips than you. Stressful.
Nah.
Oh man, because you're
That's
a better
why you
jumper.
gotta pick the good kids.
Yeah, it's true.
That they're way better than you.
So who do you have any guys in mind right now? Obviously you're not going to say them, but do you have a handful of guys that once this pandemic is over that you want to reach out to and, you know, get some new fresh blood on DC?
100%. hopefully there will be an opportunity to do that. But yeah, we'll see. One day at a time. Let's fucking fight this bullshit out first, and then, you know, what's going on around there at Whistler? Are you guys hanging pretty tight, stay home style?
Yeah, Pettit's just been, working around the house.
I see he's been kind of going. That's the thing, that I have so many things that I need to do around my house. Haven't done one yet. But fuck, I was like, going to like the store seems so stressful. Like I know when I go start a prop, some sort of a little thing around the house, some like new project. I'm gonna forget so many things, and I'm gonna have to go to Home Depot like 10 times, and I don't want to be doing that right now.
No, you don't. That's the thing. But Sean, luckily, he just needed concrete, and he had everything else around the house. So he ordered a bunch of bags of concretes, and then he just left them outside. And then, hopefully they're germ. Yeah. But Belzo, he was doing a lot of work, and he was going to Canadian Tire and the rest of those places to buy tools. And he said it was just too hectic, so he had to just stop going because it was just like they just aren't taking it serious, and there's just people, everywhere.
I mean, there's like actual people that are working right now that need to be there. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's such a weird thing. It's like, where can you go and what's like right and what's wrong? You don't even know now. Going to grocery stores just stresses me out.
Dude, bigger than ever.
Never too fucking careful with this shit, I guess. Have you guys done any takeout or anything?
Yeah, we did one day. We did a one day where I went to this place where you've probably been there before, called Araxi. And they have this, like, it's a super expensive restaurant in Whistler, but they're having like this super awesome sale where you can get meatballs, pasta sauce, and bread for $18, and it's 4 days worth of food, so it averages at like $4.50 a meal.
That's a steal of a deal.
Yeah, it's better than have you been ordering pizza in all the time? Has Eddie Wall been coming over or what?
No. I had Indian food twice and had Mexican burritos from the place down the street. Gotta keep that place going.
I've been there once. You took me there before.
Yeah.
The one, the hole in the wall kind of place. That place is incredible.
Yeah.
Unreal.
You can't
spot.
let fucking El Pueblo go out of business. Made some Thai food the other day. I had to fucking step out of my comfort zone. I made some red coconut curry.
That sounds super Thai.
It was actually really good.
Are you the cook or is Arrow the cook?
I would say I do a little bit more. It's probably like a 75-25 right now.
That's like my girlfriend and me. She does mainly it, but then I do the dishes.
Yeah, but we're not a couple, okay?
Iikka and Arrow kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah. I tried to make some banana bread last night. I was all baked. And I was missing maybe like half of the things or ingredients. And it probably has 4 ingredients in it.
What does it have? Bananas in it? Bread?
No, there's no bread. It's bananas, egg, flour, baking soda. I didn't have baking soda, so I used baking powder. I think it's alright. Salt. Then you're supposed to have butter, but I didn't really have that much butter, so it came out so dry. I put a little olive oil instead of... I had a little bit of butter, and I added a little bit of olive oil.
Olive oil in banana bread?
Yeah, well, that was my only fucking... I was already too deep in the fucking making. I realized no butter.
Key word there, olive oil.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
All right, everybody wants to hear some Iikka Backstrom stories. You've been in the game for a long time, hanging around plenty of people. What's your best snowboard story ever? Don't remember it? Well, Mikey Rentz just texted me and said, make sure Iikka tells the full story of him and Mikkel biking to Vancouver.
Oh yeah, didn't Mikhail already tell the story?
Yeah, he said, Mikhail has already told this story, but it needs to be retold.
Okay. So, me and Mikhail and everyone in Squamish, Dustin, Chuck, I think Chucky was there too, Mikey, we had a little bit of a sender, probably at Mikey's, had a fire, ended up at Dustin's house later on that night, then ended up at Mikhail's house, which is the hotel in Squamish. We went down for Caesars down at the restaurant at his hotel, and we were looking at like how to get to Vancouver or something. We wanted to go to Vancouver. I was like, yeah, we should like, it's such a nice day out. We should like maybe ride the bikes. And Mikhail looked at me and goes, dude, we have the bikes. I'm like, oh yeah, we rode the bikes from Dustin's house. I had like a girl's bike that was like too small for me, and Mikhail had a mountain bike. We just packed up Mikhail's backpack with one bottle of whiskey, 2 beers, and a small little bottle of water. And we hit the road. And literally the first uphill that we get on the sea to sky towards Vancouver, I was like, what the fuck are we doing? This is crazy. We just kept going. There's no shoulder on that road. I thought there was like a legit bike path.
No, there's no
And
bike path.
back to where we were having the Caesars with the bartender. She told us like, yeah, people do it all the time. It's like people bike it all the time. Like, oh, cool, right on. So I thought there was like a legit bike path, even though I've driven that road 1,000 times.
What a terrible idea.
Never
There
paid
ain't no
attention,
bike
but
path.
then, yeah. So no shoulder. We were just biking. It must have taken us 4.5 hours, 5 hours, 4.5 hours maybe to Horseshoe Bay, where it finally splits off. We go and like sun's going down.
Did you finish the whiskey that you guys brought?
Yeah.
Holy shit. You guys must have been buckled.
Yeah, and the beers.
You guys kind
We
of...
were staring this. We were like watching the sunset in Horseshoe Bay off the road. We're just sitting there. This is super cool. So we keep riding the bikes after the sunset. Now it's dark. See a bus station. Get on the bus. Put the fucking bikes on the bus, on the front of the bus, because it has like bike racks in the front of the bus. And we go to Vancouver. Go get dinner. Or we get to downtown, go get dinner, still having a couple of drinks, finish the dinner. Mikhail was like, well, we should probably stay in the city because we're in the city. I'm like, all right, I guess we should probably stay in the city then. Fuck it. So we get a hotel room, party all night, crazy, don't remember much. Wake up in the morning. I'm like, okay, now it's time to go home. Mikhail has an idea. He's like, well, we should probably go get tattoos. I'm like, fuck. Here we go. I'm like, okay, I know one place. This dude tattooed me before. Maybe we'll go ask. Like, kind of knowing that they won't take fucking just like what do you call us?
Obliterated? Foreigners?
No, just like
Drop-ins? Yeah.
Walk-ins. Drop-ins, whatever they're called.
Walk-ins, baby.
So fucking we get there, of course, they had time to tattoo us. We don't even know what we wanted. So then we come up with this fucking stupid tattoo with an old school bike, and it says "Bike or Die, Sea to Sky '99."
That's the best tattoo you could have came up with.
That was great.
Where is it?
We were just like, we were buckled, and the dude must have been just like, what the fuck is wrong with these dudes? And I start getting my tattoo first. I put it on my thigh, like up high, and Mikkel goes to the bar across the street. He keeps drinking. He comes back. And he starts getting tattooed. I'm like, fuck, I cannot wait to get out of here. Now I have a tattoo on my fucking thigh. Then Mikhail gets done with his tattoo. He's like, dude, I gotta go across the street to the bar because I told the guy if I show him, he told me that if I show him my tattoo, he'll buy me a shot. I'm like,
Sounds
who
worth
fucking
it.
cares? Let's get the fuck out of here. He's like, I gotta go. So he goes, gets his shot. I'm just like, yo, we gotta go. Then we go to the bus station. Wait for the bus. It's like an hour away. Bus finally shows up. I'm like, we're finally going home. We try to put the bikes into the bus, and the bus driver is like, no, there's no way you can put your bikes with the luggage. You need to have a bike box or a bike bag. We're like, what the fuck is a bike box or a bag? Like, yeah, they make them. Like, no, we don't have those. We make sure it won't fucking damage anyone's luggage down. And the bus driver wouldn't let us get on the bus. And Mikkel almost started fighting the dude. And bus takes off, and we're just like, fuck. So we ended up taking a cab.
Oh,
From
wow.
downtown Vancouver to Squamish. It was a Prius, and there was 2 bikes somehow in the Prius. I was in the back underneath 2 bikes, and we all the way made it to fucking Mikey's house. The next night.
That sounds like one of those stories where it all sounds like a good idea when you're initially buzzed, and then 24 hours later, you're like, holy shit, what did we just do?
Dude, it only took 2 hours to fucking realize what the hell I was doing when we were on the fucking road biking. I was like, this is so dumb.
Who was the captain in this mission, like, being like, we gotta keep going? Was it you or was it Mikkel? Like, somebody keeps the team going.
I think we just took our turns.
Oh my god, I feel like if I was in that scenario, I would have been like, I gotta get the fuck home right now. Especially with the shot thing. I'm with you on that. Like, fuck the shot, Mikkel. I don't care about this guy's giving me a free shot for your tattoo. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah. At that point, nothing mattered anymore anyways, but I really wanted to go home.
And then the last Mikey's thing he said is to ask Iikka about his Harley Davidson phase.
Oh my god, I just fucking... Of course he asked me that.
Why?
I was texting with him the other day, and he was like... He did mention something about the Harley Davidson. I told him it was the worst era of my life. I don't want to talk about it. Lowry made me buy his old Harley Davidson, and we all had Harley Davidsons, and we went on one trip, and I hated it so much. I hated everything about that thing. What? Not me, one bit.
Yeah, I'm not much of a biker. I don't know. It seems uncomfortable, and it's like a crazy kind of flex.
Dude, it's fucking dangerous as fuck, and it's... I don't know, I'm not down. It feels so weird pulling up in a Harley when everyone looks at you. It's so whack. I mean, whatever for the people that are into them. I'm not into bikes really.
I think it's like when I see somebody on it, I'm like, I get the enjoyment, but yeah, like you said, when you park the bike and then the revving of the Harley and to everyone to look at you, it's a weird flex for sure.
Yeah, it's so fucking loud. Yeah, not my vibe.
So here's a question for you. Right around that time frame, is that before or after you got on Monster, and what happened with Monster? Just not your jam?
What happened? I don't know if it might have been like the similar time probably. I got on Monster. I was there for like a year or 2, but I wasn't rocking like a huge logo. I was a pretty small, subtle logo type of guy, and they weren't down with that. I remember them. Because Steve Ruff was my agent back then. They told Steve Ruff that they wanted me to look a little more like Mikey and Arrow with bigger logos. I was like, I'm not down. And they're like, okay, you can just walk away. I'm like, okay, cool, thanks, bye.
No way, that was that.
Yeah, it was pretty much that, yeah. I wasn't a big logo guy.
It was a good call on your part back then because it ended up kind of working in your favor.
Yeah.
It's been a better look for you to not have the M than have the M.
Yeah, I was, for sure. I agree. 100%.
Well, it's the M isn't like, think about the star. Like people who rep the star, I think that one's which one's the worst in your eyes?
Yeah, the star is so bad. It's fucking horrible. All of them are pretty bad, but the star is so fucking whack, dude. Dude, you're literally, yeah, I don't know. Fucking don't even, the star is so harsh, it's insane.
Yeah, it's a tough logo to pull off. There's only been one person to pull it off in the history of snowboarding, and that man is Chuck G, because he had the board too. He went full flex.
Chuck G, yeah. Full flex. That was sick.
If you're gonna go Rockstar, you gotta get the Rockstar board and just rep the whole thing.
Dude, I saw Chuck G's Rockstar board for sale at this fucking gas station 3 hours away from Mammoth. Not kidding.
I know, I believe you. That's a bad look.
There we go.
This is gonna get better now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's cut to the chase. Who should get dropped from their brands right now?
Oh my god. Fuck. Don't make me get too honest.
We want some honesty right now.
It's like a deep thought right there. I don't even know. Yeah.
It's such a tough time in human history. Nobody needs to hear them get fully slam jammed here on the podcast.
Yeah, I think it's a fucking bad timing for that.
Where do you hope snowboarding evolves, and what do you hope that kids do and appreciate in the future so snowboarding can stay somewhat intact and not be a full social media influencer, new digital age, unappreciation for filming and photography kind of world?
I hope people start appreciating just writing and not only I don't know, riding resorts, being outside and doing all kinds of cool shit, hiking, I don't know. I hope all this crazy man-made park shit kind of fades away a little bit because it's fucking whack.
Yeah, I agree. The more big the park world has outdone itself year after year. I mean, I think Super Park was the mecca for it, but then now with Audi cars being parked on top of stuff and giant Gatorade bottles and stuff, it just
Well, you can't really head backwards either. That's the problem, but you can make it look cool. You don't always, I don't know. I have a hard time watching those perfectly manicured fucking park features. It looks so dumb to me.
2010, no, that's wrong. 2012 or 13 was probably the end of my liking park jumps in videos. They used to be my favorite thing ever, and then the way they are built and constructed and shot got so manicured to a point where it just looked.
It's a weird little thing. I think the worst part is when you watch those contests and you see 80% of the people are the same people.
Yeah.
It's just wow, you all look the same. No one fucking really stands out.
It's a cookie cutter look.
But there's a few people obviously that stand out, but rest of the fucking crowd is just the same fucking mold.
Well, it's interesting to think that when your kind of era, I would say a larger portion of people were educated in snowboarding, buying movies, think about True Life sales and stuff like that were in the millions, and so people kind of had a clue.
Yeah, it's because back in the day, I remember growing up, we had idols. You idolize people. and I feel like it's kind of gone away, where people is like, fuck, I want to do a triple cork. It's like they fucking have a goal of doing a triple cork. That's your goal. Your goal is not to be cool or like look cool or fucking make a cool looking 360. Your goal is to get to a point of doing a triple cork. It doesn't matter what it looks like.
That's the best thing I ever heard. Yeah. If you don't have like, and snowboarding now, less and less people want to recognize or like tell people that they're inspired by them. Everybody wants to be their own little hero. You know what I mean? They want to have their own social media and they want them to be the king. Where, like you said, you growing up, you idolize so many people like, you know, Jamie and Devin and Brian and whoever else. And you're like, these are like my heroes. These guys are the best. Yoni.
It wasn't even all about like, it was partly how they rode, obviously, but you could see their like, in their like personality. I was like, that dude is fucking cool. And you like still see in those some people, at least I do, when they like walk in, you're like, all right, this dude is fucking cool.
Dude, it's a big thing. I totally fucking agree.
But there's that part of snowboarding is still in there. But it's like there's a lot of other kooky shit in snowboarding now too.
Oh, dude, like, I don't know, like the knuckle hop cuck at the X Games this year and stuff like that. Like, I get it, but
fuck that. It's so
I know people aren't gonna do that and take it to a tasteful thing. It's only gonna end bad for snowboarding.
That's so fucking sad.
I mean, I'm grateful that I had like a handful of people growing up that really like jammed into my head what was cool. Like Danimal says on his podcast, like the people he looked up to never told him how to be cool or what to wear. He would just look at them, and then eventually he would understand what it was.
Yeah, there's just no flair. When you're like, you don't have your own thing going on when you're writing someone else's fucking, for someone else, you know? All the time. You're writing for the fucking judges all day long. That's when you don't create your own little thing.
Big time. Even just talking to you, it just reaffirms my stance on like how strongly I feel about like people being who they want to be and filming stuff that is unique. Because I mean,
yeah, it's very important. That's why I started snowboarding, because that's what people look fucking rad. They looked rad with what they did, and they're like, in a way, they're artists, you know. Just individuals, you know.
Dude, you could go from J2 to Scotty Whitlake to like Mark Frank to JP Walker, Jeremy Jones, Mikey LeBlanc, like all of those people. But when I say those names names all come with like a vibe around the name. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
It's like saying like, you know, whoever, Andrew Reynolds, Brian Herman, Dustin Dolan. You think of those names, they represent something. Whereas if you're just doing contests and you have the same cookie cutter fitting boxy pants and jacket as everybody else and a helmet with a star or like something on it, it just, whew, it's tough to branch out after that contest world doesn't work out.
I mean, it's just, yeah. It's the contest scene just, it's a magnet for fucking little fucking kooks.
I mean, I don't know. I went to the last X Games thing and I was just blown away by like the people in the contest scene are so brainwashed and in their little contest world, and when they get in this like little bubble and you can see that they don't leave that bubble, and when they do, they feel like they travel as like a little pack, and they don't realize that everything they just need to branch out and be their own little individual.
For sure.
And seeing Torstein go from a contest dude into like this film dude has been crazy.
He's 1 out of a million. It's fucking crazy.
It's insane. And he looks he transferred into like this, I don't know, superstar guy making those edits back in the day before anybody, the tall T things. And like, I get it and stuff, but I always thought it was kind of cheesy. And then in the last few years, he seems like he's just like this new snowboarder. New, like anything he puts out, I'm so excited to watch.
Yeah, he's even better to watch live. It's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, I've been there. He's great. He's a really good snowboarder.
Yeah, and I'm saying like there are those dudes in the contest. I enjoy watching some people in the contest, but it's like 15% of them, and they know who they are.
Who are they? Who's a few dudes that you got some respect for? You like what they're doing?
I mean, obviously Mark, Red, Danny Davis.
Dude, Danny. He has single-handedly evolved half-pipe riding back into this state of like style again. Those half-cab methods, whoa!
He's incredible, and he just, I don't know, he just can't make podium, or does he make podium?
I think he normally gets, like, I think of Danny, I think of top 5, but not number 1.
Yeah, he should be number 1 at all times.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say.
Exactly, the same. I agree.
But he also he should just do that he should just film his runs and not even do contests. Like, what's the even point at this point?
Imagine Danny filming a half-pipe with nobody else on the half-pipe deck and no banners, no GMC banners.
But actually, he should do contests because, he should do contests because that's like the best look for snowboarding that there is in any contest.
Yeah. I mean, there is something to say for the dudes who get invited to go and do X Games, do tour, that know they might not win, but they go out and they still look like a total G and they just look dope when they do. Even Sebe. Sebe doesn't crush it in the contest world, but at least he's a good flex for snowboarding. You know, people see him out there and they go like, whoa, that's what snowboarding can look like. That's a good look.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he ain't winning. He ain't going home with first. But, I mean, there's a lot of people going home win top 3, and I would way rather be a team manager back in somebody like Sebe than some of those other dudes.
Yeah, Sebe is very talented, and he looks good. He does, like, different tricks in contests, which is cool. And he did make finals at US Open. It's huge. Too bad the season got caught short because Brady Lim was supposed to do a double cork.
Well, he's going to try
with Sebe. If Sebe makes US Open finals, he has to do a double cork.
What?
Yeah.
Front 10 or back 10? It doesn't matter.
We told him that back 10 was kind of, it needed to be front side.
Yeah, back 10s are definitely less cool.
No. He was going to say, he said he was going to do the cab under flip double 9, but that wasn't going to, that's not it needed to be backside or front side. That's what. He can't be that fucking double fucking backflip, half cap backflip thing.
Yeah, the half cap double backflip, that's not a very nice looking thing. There just goes something to say about people who spend all their time trying to win contests and then don't put any energy into filming video parts where like just like kind of says who you are. There's not like a lot of those people. I mean, a lot of the top dogs like Torstein, Mark, Mikkel, people who done the whole contest world in and out, Stale, whatever, that just like eventually, you know, they have those enough appreciation to go out there and film some clips. And it's not only good for them, it's good for their soul to not be around that energy that comes with contest riding. It's it's a different energy to go out there. I mean, let's talk about it. You were out there forever with the granddaddy master, the guru, the GOAT, that everyone says that loosely, but Devin Walsh. And I mean, going out there with Devin, Anthony Vitale for a long time, and Colin Adair, it's like, what a true like group of people to be around in the mountains, like doing what I would say is the most like holistic version of snowboarding, being out in the mountains, not even street rail riding, because street rail, I got a lot of respect for it, but there's something about being in the mountains where it's just like that snowboard belongs more than ever. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah, 100%. Was that a question?
Yeah, what's it like filming with Devin Walsh, dude? He's the best.
Oh, it was the best because he was literally like, we had a pretty good thing going on. I mean, I was definitely way less experienced than he was. He taught me pretty much everything I know now. But going with him was just like, I always knew we were going to have a good day. I don't know. We just kind of like, a lot of times when I was filming with him, we didn't really, I felt like most of the times we didn't really film whack jumps. It was just like, okay, here we go. This is going to be good.
No, the whole entire
Mm-hmm.
season you had with Devin for 2 years when you were filming Polar Opposites was like, you guys are hitting there hasn't been a web series that came out that had that good of snowboarding in it ever. Like, you guys were hitting so much good stuff, like, you know, from Witch's Tit going up base and like all those clips. So good. And then you and Devin having similar trick selection, you don't have the same style,
Yeah.
but you definitely have the similar taste. So it'd be like Devin would do a back five, you'd do a switch back five. And to me, that's what you want to see out there. And you guys are not the spin to win kind of crew. So it just like was the duo was so impactful at the time.
Yeah, for sure. And going back to the, like, where you said favorite times of my career, that for sure. I mean, for him, that, yes, but also those times with Dev was just some of the best times on snow for sure. We just had a good thing going on there for a few years, just hitting fun and good jumps, and I don't know. It was, we never really, all the jumps were pretty step downy that we hit with Dev, that's for sure. We're never building crazy fucking cheese wedges, and I've never been into that either. Even now, I just don't like it. Like, way rather spend half of the time building a jump and just be snowboarding more than just like literally shoveling. I don't know. I don't like building jumps. But I will. Don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty lazy. I mean, jumps are great for if you're trying new. That's where, like, kind of, we're hitting so many step downs, so you're pretty limited what to do. You're not double corking off step downs, or you're not doing any. You're limited to 180 to fucking 720, or straight out to 720, if 720. A lot of 540s. So, yeah, it's not good for tricks, but it's a lot better for snowboarding, I feel like. Snowboarding more.
But that's the most tasteful tricks you can do, is like anything below a 540. Perfectly done.
Not that it changed when I fucking built a bigger jump. I still did a 360 or 540, so I don't even know.
Yeah, I know. I've never really been the fast spinner either, but I also like never wanted to be, because the people I looked up to you, being you and Devin and Mark Frank and whoever else, they were never the big huckers. I was always thinking it would look so sick to be able to just float a back 180 and look like Devin when I was a kid. Like, how does he do it?
Yeah, I mean, it is the best feeling. Spinning slow, going big. But also, I am going to say double cork does feel pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know,
I agree completely.
That's where it stops for me, but it does feel pretty cool because it feels trippy. You're like, what the fuck?
I think anything after, I'm going to give the 1260 the Hail Mary, you know what I mean? Like, if you do like, for sure, some people are making the 14s and stuff like that look decent, but it will never compare with a switchback 5 stalefish or, you know.
Oh, 100%. It's more of a fucking artist move.
Does somebody want to see somebody do a 720 kickflip or a kickflip? Like that, you don't need to say anymore. I don't get why people can't wrap their head around this. Like,
I would love to see a 720 kickflip. It's probably gonna happen in the Olympics.
Yeah, they're coming.
Oh God.
Yeah, I don't know. Skateboarding does a much better job of filtering out, or at least maybe just the dudes I follow or whatever. But like they do a way better job of filtering out like kooky shit. Where I follow like the main snowboard accounts,
I
and
don't know, dude. I mean, they're trying, but what's
but
that?
it depends on who you follow. But snowboarding, I don't know. It's just been like tough to follow some, like including myself. Like I went through a phase where I totally started fucking up with my own social media. When this whole social media boomed off 5-6 years ago, like I was like posting shit that was like, what? Like why would, looking back, I'm like, what the fuck was this? Where now I'm like, I like to share a little bit of my stuff to keep my brands happy. I don't mind. I get some people that are good enough they don't even have to, like the Kuziks and the Jeds. Well, I'm not that good, so I'm still down to share my shit to try and keep me afloat.
You need to give yourself a little more credit there, Jody.
No. I'm
You are sick.
There we go. We have it here. Iikka Backstrom thinks I'm sick. That was the best part of quarantine. 1 month trapped in this hellhole. That just made me feel so good.
That's good. You gotta keep sane there, you know?
Do you know what, though? That's what it's about right there. There is nothing better in the world than snowboarding and filming shit. And then somebody like you, who I've looked up to my whole life, says that, and it has so much meaning. And I know that exact same thing would be something like if Devin, when you first started filming with him, goes like, Iikka, you're sick, dude. Like, it's like a pleasure to film with you. And it's like that feeling right there is worth everything in the world of like it's worth the dedication for someone you look up to, and that it's been your hero to say some shit like that. It's like, damn, it makes all those bails and everything feel so worthwhile.
It makes you feel good. That's what fucking life's all about. Accomplishments or like challenges with yourself.
Straight up. But like, do you remember like the first dude ever that you were super hyped on that gave you a pat on the back? Like, Iikka, you're sick. Like, I remember coming to Whistler and like the certain people I've looked up to over my life telling me like they liked something I did. It's like, those are like the most memorable moments ever. Like Devin Walsh telling me he liked one of my back 180s one time. I was like, this was the best day of my life.
For sure. That's what was I gonna say? But I agree on that. I try to figure out if I had a similar story, but I can't remember them right now. Shit.
One other thing I'd love to elaborate on is the fact that like your correlation with Devin, a lot of people do this. I don't even know what it's called. It's like, you find a mentor and then the mentor finds an apprentice. You and Devin collaborate together. It's a perfect combination. And now, I mean, I look at you and then you're doing the same for like these new kids or whatever. And it's an ongoing like little trade-off. And it's like, that's the best thing in the world is finding a mentor that's older than you, more experienced, and then finding some young kid that you're down to like apprentice. It keeps your stoke up. I mean, I can only imagine if Devin didn't have you, like you pushed Devin as much as Devin pushed you. And it was like the perfect yin and yang.
Yeah, it was cool. It was super dope. And I'm hoping there's going to be more opportunity to do that to other younger kids. Like, I just, this year obviously got caught short. Had some plans going to Whistler with Sebe. Sebe's third time, maybe. Yeah, he's getting a hang of the backcountry quick. It's kind of scary. Hopefully, he gets a hang of the snowmobiling as quick as he does snowboarding in the backcountry.
What do you think of sledding for a tool? Do you think having a sled is necessity to be able to access, gain new terrain, or do you think people should just buy a split board and get out there and just start splitting?
I think sleds in Whistler is a key for sure. Yeah, I think sledding's definitely the easiest access to the best terrain you can probably find.
Dude, it makes it so much easier. And the new sleds, they just go. Like, what was the first snowmobile you had growing up here? Or you didn't grow up here, but you did your career here for sure.
I bought it off Martin Gallant. There's a Polaris RMK 600 that he changed the motor into an 800. That thing was a beast.
What was that?
It's like a
2000 and
tank.
what year?
I don't even remember. It was like one of those big tanks. I left it in Stewart. I left Stewart and it's fucking still there somewhere.
Is that when you were on forum and just had the money to leave the sled, or it just was like?
I was so over Stewart and had to get the fuck out of there. And I couldn't. I was just over it. We've been sitting there forever. And I had brought my sled there with Devin's trailer. And I think I just pieced out with Devin. I was like, I'm just going to piece out of here. Drove to Vancouver with him because he had to go to the lab to film something with Pierre. I stayed in Vancouver, hung out, and I flew back to Stewart. And when I flew back to Stewart, I got there. Oh no, I drove there with Pavo's Audi. And all those guys were still chilling there. And the morning that we got there, they said, we got good news and bad news. Good news are we're leaving. Bad news is the snow is shit. It's like, oh God, we just got back here. So I didn't have how to bring my fucking sled back from there, so I just left it.
Screw the sled. I mean,
no one wanted to put fucking. Surface had a fucking double trailer. He didn't want to put 3 sleds on this double trailer for 2 hours to get to Smithers, so I could rent a truck to drive to Vancouver. So I just left my sled in Stewart.
Was it at the end of the year? Was it one of those like warm up?
Oh yeah, it was end of the year. Like, get me out of here.
One more Hail Mary, and then so typically when the season would, get hot and it'd pooch out here, would you just bail right to going back to Finland, or what would you do?
Come back to California as soon as it was pretty much done. I would bail and come to California and do my thing here.
Damn. When did you buy your house in California?
9 years ago, maybe.
Wow, buddy. You were in the snowboarding the heyday, top dog, just crushing it, house in California. My man. I remember seeing you cruising around Whistler in the old days with like Arrow, Mikey, Iikka, Devin, everyone, new trucks, new sleds. Everyone knew you guys were getting paid, and it was, the light at the end of the tunnel was glorious. And then Mark Sollers, my close friend, got sponsored and started crushing it, and the light still glimmered so hopefully. And then, then it just seemed to end. Everyone I know who was crushing it, it just stopped. It was just no one was getting paid anymore. It was like Sollers was the last person to absolutely crush it.
Yeah, right. You guys are all crushing it.
No, well, yeah. I'm not. I'm paying Sean Pettit's mortgage off, but whatever. He needs it more than I do.
Yeah. Dude.
What's a pro tip by Iikka Backstrom to make it as a pro snowboarder in this day and age? What should kids be trying to do?
Just do what you want to do. Do what you like to do. And I don't know, just be yourself. Have some good idols to look up to.
Hell yeah, that's what you need right there.
And get your own flavor from a bunch of other people. Like a bunch of people that you look up to. Make it your own.
Who are 3 dudes that you stole some flavors from?
Gigi, Devin, probably Yanni Mommy.
Sick. Good picks, bro. All right, dude. Well, thanks for coming on, dude.
Thank you.
And thanks for giving me your time. And I'm sure everyone appreciates hearing from Iikka during quarantine because we're all bored as hell. So, thanks a lot, dude. You're the best.
Thank you, Jody. That was awesome.
You're welcome, man. Yeah, dude. I'm trying to spread some knowledge about snowboarding and snowboard history in this dark time. And you are a book full, and we didn't really get into it as much as I'd like to, but we're already at almost the 2-hour mark, and
there's a lot to talk about. We can do a part 2.
Yeah, we can do a part 2, man.
Trust me, I got nothing to do.
Thank you so much for coming on, dude. You've done so much for snowboarding in the right direction. We're all excited for you to be the team manager at DZ and help revamp that. And I mean, your video parts, your style, trick selection, who you've worked with over the years, everything. You've done it right. And I mean, yeah, maybe the diamond earrings and the Harley Davidson wasn't your best phase, but you know what? We've all had a few bad ones, and you've came out on top because you're an absolute boss.
Thank you, Jody. I appreciate it.
You're the best, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Much love, Iikka. Take care. Say hey to Aero Niemela for us.
Thanks for doing our podcast, brother.
Fucking rights, bud. See ya, champ.
Hell yeah.
Peace.
See ya. Peace.
The Airtime Podcast is presented by Van Shoes since 1966. 66!
There's nothing fake about it. Have something to believe in and be yourself. You know what I'm saying?